let's just, oh, that's, oh, nasty. Hi guys, just a little pre-bit to this video. This was actually going to be a tutorial on how to remove all the injection system from the Datsun, which will come in another video. But then obviously I found that the thing wouldn't turn by hand, so we dug quite a bit deeper and found some weird stuff. So that's how this video came about. If it seems like it goes in a weird direction and then goes another way. Okay, so taking the rocker cover off in bits was not part of the plan. I thought, you know what, I've never actually turned this engine over by hand, and while I had the inlet off I thought I'd spray some WD in there, spray some bits in the spark plug holes and just give it a turn by hand, and it didn't go a full rotation. There's definitely something that seems like it's physically stopping, so I looked a bit closer, and now I know when I got it the rocker cover was actually loose, and I looked down the engine bay a minute ago and saw one of these. But this, if you don't know what it is a rocker locator. So basically it sits between the rocker and the valve. So you can see one of these here, and you can see some of them are missing. So we've not got one here, not got one there, we've not got one there. So what I think has happened at some point when this car was in America, someone took a lot of it apart, saw something they didn't like and bashed it back together real quick. Now, it might just be top end stuff that's stopping it from going through. Or it might be something worse, it might be bottom end, I don't know. But I think either way the head's got to come off. So I'm going to take the exhaust manifold off, I'm going to take the timing chains off and the cams, and we're going to take the head right off the engine. Okay, I might have found it. This might be the most ridiculous engine problem in the world. It's nuts, for lack of a better word. So if you see this front timing cover here, this casing, it looks like that maybe that's been sat, well, it looks like maybe the car's been sat with the rocker cover off for quite a while, because if I look down here, it is packed full of sort of acorns and nuts and things like that. And I heard one crunch. It was unmistakably the sound of a nut cracking. And then it freed a bit. So I'm going to get a hoover, rig it up with a bit of hose pipe or something like that, and get that down there and see what I can get out. I'll report back in a mo. Now, what do you think? So I've fashioned what I like to call the nut sucker. Get your mind out of the gutter. And so we're gonna everything down there and see if we can get this clear and get it to rotate. Let's have a try. This is what I'm dealing with, look. There's a whole acorn that was in there, just down that cover. These are just the bits that wouldn't go into the hoover. The rest of it's in there. It's, yeah, well, it's looking a lot cleaner now, but there's still some more to do. Been at this for about 20 minutes, I've still got more to do. There is tons down there. Okay, so that did do the trick. We got the nuts out, as you can see down there, and it is retained, but I still think it'd be prudent to take the head off just so we can see what's going on under there. So I'm going to crack on and carry on doing that. Because those rocker shims are out, and because it's not a lot more work from where we're at the minute, I think it'd just be a good idea to be able to see that. So all we need to do is coolant line to the head off, cam sprocket to come off, and then we've got our head bolts here which need to come off. So it definitely looks like a load of stuff is dropped in here, and a load of crap is just sitting all in this. It's just like, I don't know what it is. There's a bug there, some sort of beetle thing. Oh, no, it's dead. There's a couple of scratches on here, but I don't think that's from the head, I don't think that's from the valves. I reckon that's from someone putting a screwdriver in to try and find top dead centre maybe, to scratch across there, because there's nothing on the rest of them and there's nothing on the valves. These all look pretty good, obviously fairly well worn, but they're all there. So the idea isn't for a full rebuild on this. I'll grab another engine for that and do a full complete strip down and build and then transfer that into this. The idea is just to get this running as quick as possible. Pretty sure the problem is head based, so what we'll end up doing is stripping the cam off and getting everything set up properly on that. I'm going to turn this over by hand just to make sure that everything bottom end is still rotational moving. I'll also probably, just as a precaution, since we found a bit of debris in here, brace the engine, drop the subframe and drop the sump off and just see, because there could be dead things in there, I don't know. But for now I'm going to clean this up. I'm also going to strip some more bits out of the engine bay, so we'll get rid of this charcoal canister, we'll get rid of the old horn bit here and just tidy up a little bit. Okay, good news, the whole rotating assembly rotates really easily by hand. Bad news, cylinder 6. Looks like something has been playing pinball in there and been banging around for a little while. It's taking a little chip out of the piston on this side. So that may need replacing. I mean, it definitely probably should, but for what we're doing, I think I'm just going to sort out the head and reassemble just to see if we can get it running. Thanks to the generosity of a new friend of mine on the Datsun UK Facebook page, we've actually got all 12 of the lashing pads that we need on there. So he sent 3 of them for me, which is brilliant. So we've now got a full set in there. So as you can see, all the rockers sit into the little shims as they should. And I've just popped the camshaft on and put it down. So the next thing to do is to line up and make sure we're still timed up. So the bottom, as far as I'm aware, the bottom pulley shouldn't have moved at all. So as long as the bright linkage on this chain meets up with the marking on our sprocket, then we should be okay there. And then it's a case of setting the valve clearances between each cam lobe, and then we can turn it over by hand and see how we do. So it looks like we have to take this front casing off to be able to get to the tensioner to put the chain back on in the right position. So I've released the alternator here and just pushed that out of the way. I actually removed all the air conditioning system because it's on a big block here, and well, there was no refrigerant in it anyway, so that is all now down here. When this car is all up and running, I will be running an aircon and heater matrix and all that sort of stuff, but for the minute I just want to get it through an MOT. So the plan is to block off the heater matrix and take out all the aircon, make it as simple as possible to go through MOT, because I know sometimes they have leaks in the heater matrix and I don't want that to be an issue when I'm trying to focus on getting the engine lights, brakes working. So I've taken off all the front housing bolts. There's actually a couple of bolts on the sump that seem to go onto this front cover plate as well, as far as I can see. So I'm just going to do a bit of research to make sure that's right, and if it is, we'll pop those off and then get this off. It may just be that there's so much sealant on this that I can't pull it off as it is. Also, I've shown you all this nasty mess that was down here around the steering rack. That was literally just sort of piled up underneath the AC area. So yeah, literally anywhere that these rodents could put stuff, they have. Well, when you think you've hoovered everything out and then you actually take the front cover off and see that it's just all gummed up right in the gears and everything of this shaft for the distributor. And I mean, after I hoovered everything out, that's just what there was more than that came out as well. I sweeped them up first of all, and there's still some all sitting in there. So definitely worth taking this front cover off. You know, I wanted it to get to the tensioner, but actually we definitely needed it to get all of this out. And there was 4 bolts at the bottom for the sump, which had to come out as well. So I was thinking I'd have to take the sump off at some point, just to clear out and see if there's anything sitting and residual in there just from how this thing's been sat with the valve cover off. But obviously, as you can see here, I can look directly into the sump from here. And well, because this was packed full of stuff, no doubt that is also packed full of crap as well. So next up, we're digging much further into this than I thought we would, but for today's episode, but sump off, yeah, sump off. Well, we weren't wrong. There is a load of stuff in the front here, a load of gunk in the back of the pan, and the pickup, well, the pickup has definitely seen better days. Let's just, oh, that's, oh, nasty. So yep, we're going to pull that off, clean that up, have a look at some of the bearings, and clear out everything that's just sat in here. Oh, nasty. That's what we have time for. Thank you for exploring this engine with me and finding all those nuts and bits and bobs that we found inside there. Next thing is to clean everything up, and I will be putting this all back together, and hopefully it will all turn over by hand. So fingers crossed there. So you can catch me in the next one on the Datsun, might be on that. A few videos coming out over the next few weeks, so make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you soon.